One of the purposes of this channel is to help you get really familiar with the fact that you can be a self healer, that you can heal your inner world and change your outer experience. And one of the ways that we can do this is by understanding projection and recognizing when we are projecting. Because projection is the unhealed wounds that are unconscious within us. They are places within ourselves that we are hiding or denying because we just think they are too dastardly to look at. But the brain and the body are fascinating things, and they work towards our homeostasis. They want us to be balanced and centered. So they're going to give us signs when things are not going well. And obviously, with the human body, we'll have an ache or a pain or something doesn't feel right, which will bring our attention to that thing to help us to work on that, to get that thing healed. The same thing is true when we have things going on within our psyche. This is what projection is, because it is us projecting our unhealed and untended to wounds inside of ourselves onto other people. And this happens through judgment. So anytime that you notice yourself judging another individual, take a moment and ask yourself, do I too have this trait? For example, if you're thinking something like, my sister always has to be right. Okay, that's a judgment. You have some energy into it. You don't really like the way it feels. You are judging your sister. So ask yourself, do I always want to be right? Now, the key here is that initially the ego is going to creep up and it's going to say, nope, you don't. You don't always need to be right. But if you get quiet enough and you're honest with yourself, because awareness is key. And if we're not honest with ourselves, we cannot become aware, then you will get the truth. And you say to yourself, do I always need to be right? Yeah, I can see where I'm always trying to be right. Right there, you have just located something inside of yourself that needs to be healed. Now, how it got there is not really relevant. It's just the fact that it is there. So when you can take that thing and you can say to yourself, okay, I see that within myself, and you just sit with it. What's shocking to most people is just the mere fact of becoming aware of things can help heal it by like 75%. I mean, this is a true thing. I'm not the only influencer or creator or teacher that has ever taught this. I've heard this recently by somebody else that's really big in the world. They said the exact same thing. By you becoming aware, the majority of it is going to shift for you because you are bringing what's unconscious into the consciousness. And once you are aware of it, then you can shift the way you handle that thing. And the second step would be to look at this thing and say, okay, I'm going to send love to that part of myself who feels they need to be right. What matters is that you go within and you give yourself love. You take a moment to give yourself just pure, unconditional, forgiving love. And most importantly, that you accept that piece of yourself. When you accept something in yourself, you are not going to project that into the world for other people to start accepting. Because let's face it, there's things about our personalities, our psyches, the wounded part of ourselves that is not showing up in the world in a great way. So we so desperately want other people to love and approve and accept of us, but yet we haven't yet. So guess what happens? The world will reflect that back to us, the lack of approval of those things. And this is one of the most fascinating things about the self-healing journey is that when we heal stuff within our inner world, number one, we really stop that judgment of other people, because that judgment, again, is just us projecting like a movie screen onto another person what we have going on inside of ourselves. When I went through my College of Kristen, which was a 2-year journey, which some of you might be familiar with, where I vowed to remain single and celibate for as long as it took until I healed whatever mechanisms were inside of me that kept me attracting lopsided, dysfunctional, and painful relationships. And within that 2 years, recognizing my projection was one of the things that just catapulted me on the healing path, because it is this fabulous indicator. It is like a signpost pointing at a wound. It's saying, right here, Kristen, right here. And once you recognize this thing, you then have the ability to heal it. The same thing is true with the physical body. First, we're going to get a pain to indicate something's wrong. And then we might go to the doctor, or we might go back and say, oh, you know what? I remember lifting something heavy, so I must have inflammation in my joint. So then you can ice it or put warm packs on it or take an anti-inflammatory over-the-counter medication, something like that, that then starts to heal the wounded area. This is how amazing projection is. A lot of times, many of us are so afraid to look at ourselves because we are healing from deep shame. We think there's something wrong with us. We think we're not enough. We think that everybody else is better than we are. We think we're fallible and it's never going to get any better. All of these type of things are only keeping you stuck in life. However, when you can look at those disowned and hidden places inside of yourself, you are going to start healing. And I wrote the book on this. It is called The Recovering People Pleaser, a spiritual guide to reclaim your true worth and attract the love you deserve. This is all about healing our inner world, healing our value so that we can have that reflected back to us by the relationships in our life. If we don't deem ourselves valuable, then energetically we are going to attract people to us that don't see our value as well. You can grab this right here on Amazon if you're interested. I will also have the link in the description below. So for those of you who made it through this broadcast, I really want to commend you because the spiritual healing journey is a brave journey. It's a journey where we have to talk to that ego. We got to push that ego aside and allow for our God self to come in and to hold court with us, because the ego is loud. It's relentless. It doesn't want us to look at ourselves. But if you've made it through this, this tells me that your heart and mind are open enough that you are going to really start to catapult yourself on your healing journey if you haven't already. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications. I'd love for all of you to give me a big like as a thank you if you found value in this. And don't forget to comment below because I love, 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 love to hear your comments. Until next time, everybody, remember, you are a self-healing badass. You have everything you need inside of you to heal in order to attract and create the best life ever.